but
Don?
we'll get through it.
I got a question, if you're done.
Yeah.
What line item pays for the probation office's cars?
Their cars.
Yeah.
We don't have, that's
Do we
not in
pay
our
for
budget.
them?
No.
I-
Purchase the cars?
No, who pays for them to operate?
That is taken out of,
They're
Eight hundred fund.
I mean, who owns them?
800, not 800 fund, 800 fund's ambulance. What?
Who owns them?
Oh, you're saying it's an 800 fund. I thought you said fund 800. I would guess that their 830 probation fees, they might be able to utilize those monies.
I
I'm
didn't
not-
see anything on there where, in payments for cars, I just.
Yeah, I don't,
If
I'll
we
be
paid
honest
for
with
'em
you.
Or Charleston paid for them, or who paid for them?
I'll be honest with you, Mike, I don't know where their funding comes from.
Okay.
I'm kind of independent of that.
Okay.
They're independent of me.
did you answer the question? There's an independent funding source for all that stuff.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
comes
saying that
through the
I'm
state.
not, yeah.
Oh, so we don't pay, the county doesn't pay for those cars
No.
and pay for their.
No, it all comes through another fund. Probation has their own funds.
So you're basically saying that no claim comes through the county board?
It does not come through
Process.
for checks or anything.
Okay.
It's all paid separately.
Well,
It does not show up on any of
that's
this.
why I never saw it, I just wondered who paid for it.
No, that's fine.
Now, clarification,
Yeah.
the fuel comes through.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
write those checks.
But I mean, the maintenance and the cars and all that, maintenance goes through too?
Maintenance, but we don't purchase the cars, but the upkeep on them
Okay.
is coming through his.
Which is, that was your question, where's that?
Yes, I haven't ever seen a dime spent on probation cars. Maybe I'm just not seeing it.
They have credit cards. See, they have credit cards.
But it's,
Well, Augie, maybe, is any Edgar County tax dollars expended on probation's cars?
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Netted out, yes.
Well, namely, what you're saying, if it's being paid with fuel, for fuel and maintenance, I'm just assuming that, I don't know. I don't see the claims. That's through Augie's office.
Some of it comes through,
Yeah, the fuel and the maintenance comes through. Now, where does that funding, does that all flow from the state?
Yeah, it
to
doesn't come out
us?
of our budget.
okay, that's why we don't see
Yeah, I
anything.
think
It
there's
does
the
not-
question.
Right, it does not come out of
The
our
answer.
budget.
That's why we don't see any mention.
That's right.
All right,
But we probably write the check?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I didn't realize that.
You write the check out of
There's
a
a.
different account that we don't know about.
Yeah, we have a secret account.
Well-
No,
Gosh, they got the accountants already here.
I'm just kidding. We
It's
have,
these 800 funds.
we have a
The
whole, we have a
800 fund?
Okay.
Somewhere in those 800.
Okay.
whole non-general fund.
Right. Yeah, we don't budget for fuel in the general fund. I didn't realize we actually did the checks.
I would guess Fund 830 is the only place it could be paid out of. I don't see how any of these others would apply.
Which ones you said?
yes.
830 probation fees fund,
Yeah.
they're probably authorized to use that for general maintenance and,
Well, we've approved 2 bills this month for Eddington's record service for vehicle maintenance and fuel expenditures.
what fund is it out of?
Go back to the left.
Looks like 906, no.
Which one of those
Right
is from?
underneath the name.
It doesn't list a fund here.
You got that sheet?
You gotta have the key to know which fund is which.
Oh, you're looking at a committee report.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm delaying the meeting, I
No,
didn't know it
it's-
was that difficult
You
question.
know, I knew we didn't budget for it, I just didn't realize.
We don't even own the car.
No. Probation.
We don't pay any insurance on it.
830, it comes out at 830.
Okay,
So probationers are paying that, paying it.
Probation fees.
okay.
And then you'll also see it on the list that Don gave you, you'll see probation fees in there, Fund 830.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Clears the
I forgot I was, from what I was indicated, or Bev indicated to me here a couple weeks ago, that they were just a little bit ahead of last year as far as the tax cycle, so we're hoping, 2 years ago, they were mailed out May 31st, last year, June 11th. We're still hoping for that time frame, and hopefully we'll get some money coming in and take care of some of our cash flow issues.
Good. Deb?
I don't have anything.
Nothing?
No on schedule, so.
It's nice to see you here. Anybody, did I miss anybody other than Mr. Dudley? You're up next.
Was asked to make an announcement on behalf of Kit Kirby, the ESDA director. Tonight is the hazmat meeting, 6 o'clock, 4-H grounds, 4-H building. And as she mentioned the other day, we get so much in-kind credit
For every warm body that's
for
there.
every warm body that shows up, so
And a special bounty on a chairman and the vice chairman, they get the big bucks.
No, Ben doesn't.
And you took Mike's glory away from him.
That's the only thing I had to report, Augie, thank you.
I am so sorry, Mike.
I'm just crazy.
It's Terry's fault.
Okay.
Where do I start?
How much the election cost?
I don't know how much it cost yet.
Per voter.
We had an election, let me say general, and then I'll follow up next month with more specifics. The election went well from our standpoint, no issues, although it was a low turnout, approximately 18.5% voter turnout, but probably one of the most important elections that we conduct, because the township government is the grassroots. It's the fabric of our society. And so I'd just like to encourage more people to get involved. But now I want to extend a thanks to all of the election judges that helped. Without them, the elections could not go on. It's a long day. You have to be at the polling place from 5 a.m. and you're done you're done at 8 o'clock, let's just say, and then it's a long day. This year.
I do that every day on the farm.
Carl,
Do that last.
Oh, my gosh.
I do that every day in the county clerk's office.
I do that delivery.
I've lost my train of thought. This year, we've been informed by the State Board of Elections that there is no reimbursement money for election judges for this election. So that's not going to help us any. And then finally, I want to thank my staff for all of their work that they've done, going above and beyond what's required to help make the election possible.
I have a question on that. On our election and election expenses, and it won't be very popular whatsoever, but do we ever look at the possibility of having maybe, again, it goes against probably everything in flight of people locally, but of having a central point up north, a central point here, a central point in the southeast, southwest section, having minimal number of judges, because technically, don't you have to have some identification if somebody questions you anyway? And some judges will go into somebody, they don't know everybody in their precincts anyway. I mean, is that even an option, or is that a thought about? Because nowadays, it's not like we're driving our horse and buggies to go vote.
You're right. There are certain laws on the books right now that you can only have 4 precincts per voting center. And so we have,
I'm just thinking, like,
we have to
if
work
you
with-
did that though, I mean, is there rules there that says each one of those precincts have to have X number of judges? Or can we
Yes.
just all have them in there at one spot and only one set of judges? Now,
Well-
all the judges will hate me, and I apologize
you want me to
for
tell
that,
you
but-
what the practice is throughout the state, for the most part, from my experience, is if you have a particular party that's dominant in a county, it's going to be very hard to come up with the opposite party to balance out the number of Democrats and Republicans that you have as election judges. So then what's been done is then we step back, this is per precinct. Then you step back, you look at the voting center. So if I've got 4 precincts in a voting center, I try to garner as many of each party as I can to make it as close as possible.
I guess what my question was, if you have 4 precincts and 1 voting center,
Yeah?
well, how many judges do you technically need per precinct?
Well, it depends upon the type of election, Alan.
Okay.
3, for this election, almost 5, one,
Some of them had 2 on this.
yeah, and almost 5 for a federal election, because I've got more equipment that needs to be
Oh.
used.
I was
And
just
some
thinking-
precincts have gotten by with just 2. So it's all, there is a requirement that you have at least 3.
And so we have a spot where we would have 4 precincts, and we need 12 people sitting around doing that job.
And, you know, you're right, and I look
He
at that.
doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Have
Well,
12 at one voting center,
We know it this one.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Now, we
That's
don't,
what I'm
Carl, we don't in Vermillion,
No.
because there's not enough room.
Well, but why do you need 12 people?
Per precinct.
Per voting center.
That's silly.
It's 3 to 5 per precinct. But the problem that we run into is, number one, a lot of our election judges are aging. There are health concerns. There are a certain number who will back out the day before the election. And then all of a sudden, what do? Then you move into, if I can borrow my wife's hospital terminology, you triage. You do the best you can with what you have. And it's very hard to come up with election judges who are willing to sit there. We have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and if you're a return judge, you don't get home till maybe.
So the law, that's.
So the law says basically you need to have 3 to 5 per precinct.
Unless.
Unless you can't get them, then you just gotta do what you gotta do and hope that nobody prosecutes. But I try to balance out, we try to move around as best we can political parties. I mean, so we have Democrats, Republicans. Am I answering your question, Alan? I feel like I'm not.
You kind of did, but I just disagree with the answer, so it's okay. I just thought I'd ask that because it's a marathon session, so what the heck, let's just go for an extra 10 minutes.
I'm ready.
Well, I think the point is
You
that
disagree
we,
with me
No,
with what the
no.
law says?
What the law kind of says. I mean, if we have, in my mind, 4 precincts voting up there, in my mind, I don't even care if we have 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans.
Okay.
If those 4 people can't do that, or if we have, in this case, let's have 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat. If those 3 people don't know enough of those people up there, I think you're supposed to have identification in order to vote. Technically, if somebody challenges, right? If somebody challenges. So you may not know me anyway, if I'm living up there, so I'm coming up there to vote. I mean, it's just a vestige of a bygone era, I think. So it's not your fault. I was just.
Yeah, and the
I just
other,
didn't see any
one more
impact.
thing that complicates this is the number of ballot styles that we have. We have 89 different ballot styles throughout the county. And I mean, that's a lot. Edgar Township alone had 9 different ballot styles for Edgar Township. And so normally the process is you have a judge that takes the application, you have a judge that verifies the poll book, the printout, and then the 3rd judge will issue the ballot. Well, now this 3rd judge has 9 different ballots to try to figure out which one to get. So sometimes we're gonna need a little more help in a certain precinct that we would in, and who was our, someone only had 2. Yeah, at Memorial, there's only 2 ballot styles in one of the precincts at Memorial, so it just depends. Could we get by with less
Legally.
legally?
Now,
Legally, no.
didn't the state used to pay the majority of the judges? And now they don't pay any? Is it?
I can't speak for prior to me coming here. I know it's roughly 25-30%.
And now it's nothing?
With this particular election, it'll be nothing. Now, when you get into the
State, federal.
state and federal levels, then all of a sudden they'll find some money to help offset that.
Well, didn't I see we pay them $115?
$115. And comparing to other counties in the state, that's average. It's average. There are others that pay higher and some pay a little bit less. Good questions. I would love to try to make it more efficient, but working within the framework of the law. And my other goal, since we're talking, I want to get them out, I'd like to get them out of the schools. Because I've had so many, I've heard from so many people that they just don't like voting in the schools. It's disruptive. So there's just so much to think about and do, but limited time, limited resources.
And what would it take to get it out of the schools?
Well, there is some talk amongst the legislators in Springfield that they would like to pass legislation to get that taken out of schools.
That another location would have to be
We can
found.
do it right now, if we have a place for them.
If you have
In
a
essence,
place.
yes, yeah. Yeah, the movement was to put them into schools, thinking, well, those are already public places and they're being paid for anyway,
And the state said you could.
and the state said you could, and so that's just what happened. But there's been a lot of resistance to
The
that.
state did not give schools an option. They had to let you do it.
Yeah, if a county clerk wanted to go into a school at the election, they'd have to allow them to do that.
Are we done?
Oh, let's see, what else are we gonna do? I am going to an IMRF seminar Friday. I think it's on the rate meetings.
Will you find out at that point whether, are they gonna let you know whether we're gonna get some credit? You know, they talked about having a $5 billion surplus.
Right, for excess over their earnings and how that's all,
Right, because that would
that's
help
my
us all.
anticipation.
All
Yeah,
right.
Billy Ann and I are both gonna go up there.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I yield my time to board members for committee reports.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Committee reports. Jeff.
I just have a short thing. We've got 41.67% of the year gone. Our expenditures are at 39.2%, and so we're within budget. I want to remind you that a lot of the items that we pay are front-end and front-loaded, so some of our major expenses come early in the year. So hopefully that portends being able to make up for the county clerk not getting certain funds they could. No, just kidding. Anyway, that's all I really have.
Thanks. Carl.
Friday morning, 8:30, there's a building committee, sheriff's committee meeting starting at the jail for a tour, and then continuing on at the Correcting Building prior to our 10 o'clock meeting that morning at the Correcting Building on budget union negotiations with the road deputies. So, I don't.
May I make one quick comment, just for the record, that it has been posted yesterday, the day before, at the Correcting Building and my office, and I emailed a copy to the sheriff and posted.
Make sure they get that posted.
We got it yesterday.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Mike.
I can't think of a single thing that Augie hadn't already talked about.
Alan.
No.
Dan.
Yeah, Monday morning, Mike mentioned the problem that they had with the dog at the shelter. So I went out Tuesday morning and talked to Andrea. It seems that Mel had picked up a dog for adoption and took it to the vet, and the dog bit the doctor. The doctor complained that the dog's not been brought in because it was a vicious dog. But I talked to Mel, she said everything has been followed, protocol been followed, so really there shouldn't be any problem with it, so. So right now it's done with.
what about solid waste? When are you gonna get?
You really want to meet?
No, I wanna know when you're gonna get something going on that
Well,
solid
only days
waste.
I'm short of cash, I'll have a meeting and
Okay.
pay $25.
I thought this was a solid waste.
Meeting.
It's turning into one, that's for sure.
I'm not surprised about these days.
Yeah, I know,
have a meeting.
I know.
Of course, I gotta find out who's on the committee.
I have no report.
Okay.
You're on solid waste.
At
So
this
moved.
point, okay, I got a motion from Ben to go into closed session. I hear second.
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Go good.
Mr. Clerk, would you like to, Mr. Clerk, would you like this on?
If you start with that, I'll be back.